Hi, Minister. It's been a month since the Prime Minister promised chartered flights to bring Ukrainians to Canada. What's the holdup?
Look, it is an important matter for us, and we've committed to doing everything we can to help Ukrainians who are looking for shelter in Canada to come to Canada. As I explained last week, is that there are logistical issues that need to be sorted out. Not every individual who applied is where they applied at the time. So now we're coordinating where everyone is and who wants to come, so we can facilitate the departure points and landing points. So that work is ongoing.
Somehow Newfoundland was able to fill up a plane on its own as a province and bring those people here. So how do you square that with that criticism that Canada's not doing enough federally?
Look, I really understand and appreciate all those people who want things to move faster, and we want it to move faster as well. I'm working with my colleague, Minister Fraser, on making sure that we have all the coordination done so we can ensure that we have a successful transportation for Ukrainians who want to come to Canada. Thank you.
What's the plan to make all these people in the same place to be able to bring them here? What's the answer to the logistic issues?
We're working on it. So we're verifying where the individuals are, where most of the individuals are, where we should land the planes, pick up Ukrainians to come here. Is it in Poland? Where in Poland? What day? All that stuff is being coordinated as we speak.
Do you have expectations as per tonight's committee on French in the CN?
I'm pleased to go there and answer the committee's question. There's important work. First, I will restate our government's position that the situation at the CN board is unacceptable and needs to be remedied. Second, to again reaffirm our commitment to enhancing our Official Languages Act and to ensure that the Commissioner has the new tools that they need to advance the agenda of promoting bilingualism. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
I want to ask about Ukraine. It's been a month since the Prime Minister promised chartered flights and hotel stays to get more Ukrainians to Canada. Is Canada being too slow?
I think if you talk to Ukrainian Canadians, they'll tell you that Canada is being too slow. We've been calling for these type of measures to happen for a month or more now, and we're not seeing any activity in that regard.
And any comment on the Prime Minister's trip over there?
The only comment I would make is that we probably knew, we did know 2 weeks ago that he was going. There had been rumors that the JTF2 had been set up to clear a path for him over there. So I guess the Prime Minister felt he needed to do that, and it was his prerogative as Prime Minister to do it.
Was there a problem that he wasn't complying with the Mrs. Freeland and Mrs. Trudeau, like in terms of security?
What would that problem be?
Well, I mean, if something happened over there, the three of them would be over there.
Who's in charge then?
Well, I mean, look, the Prime Minister has to take responsibility for his actions. Fortunately, nothing happened. There was obviously a risk of that. I think that's why, as we were hearing a couple of weeks ago, they were sending our special forces over there to clear a path for the Prime Minister. If something happened, then he would have had to assume responsibility and be accountable to not just Canadians, but also their families as well. Look, when Boris Johnson went over there, everybody knew that the Prime Minister was going to go over there. It was just a matter of time and when, and we found out this weekend. I mean, he wouldn't want to be upstaged by the Prime Minister of the UK, and he certainly went over there and did what he did. And, as far as security is concerned, look, I have the utmost confidence in our special forces to provide security, which I assume would be their responsibility. But it was the Prime Minister's call, and he made that call and went. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Well, thanks for taking the time. And about a month ago now, the government first announced they're going to look at doing some chartered flights to bring Ukrainians who are fleeing the war here to Canada. We still don't know when those flights are going to take place. The minister heading into question period today said there's no concrete plan yet on when those flights are going to happen. He said logistics issues in the past. What do you make of this delay so far?
Well, of course, thank you for the question. We've seen a delayed response in almost every issue with this Liberal government. We all are supportive of this special chartered flight that should have already taken place. It's been delayed, which means it's more time for more to go wrong, and we want that to happen. We want a concrete plan. We want a concrete timeline from the minister. Ukrainians deserve it. The people that are fleeing from that war deserve it more than anything. We're the party that got passed in our immigration committee and in this House of Commons for visa-free travel for those Ukrainians that are fleeing. It was passed without the support of the Liberals both times. Nonetheless, it was still passed. We still have not seen any action being taken on that. In our opinion, with that visa-free travel, the logistics could be worked out a lot easier as well for these chartered flights. If logistics are an issue right now, it's also because of the red tape that's being created by doing biometrics for those people that are trying to flee. In our opinion, if you got rid of that requirement and you had visa-free travel, you could also work out the logistics a lot easier for these chartered flights.
The government has been looking at waiving some of the biometrics there, but we have also seen the province of Newfoundland charter a flight, and other countries have been able to charter flights as well. So what do you think the holdup here is? Is it just purely logistics, or do you think there's more going on?
Well, the Liberal government hasn't done a good job at all within the immigration system as a whole. We see now more than 2 million backlogs created inside the immigration system. This is a purely Liberal-made backlog in immigration. That's causing a lot of problems for people that are trying to get here, including people that are fleeing from war or difficult situations like we've seen in Afghanistan and now in Ukraine. The hold-up or putting up more red tape or more obstacles for people to come here, which in this case is biometrics, we don't see that it's really not preventing much, except for people to get here in a timely fashion. I was in Europe last week and went to Warsaw to see some of these centers. At this point, some of the stuff, it doesn't make very much sense. So we say that, common sense is not so common with this Liberal government. If a 5-year-old is exempt from coming here or exempt from those visa requirements, their mother and father are not. So they still have to wait until their mom or dad get approved before they come here. This is, again, causing more red tape and more delays for them to get here. Again, if we had that visa-free travel, then charter flights could be better logistically handled because they would be able to count the numbers of people that they could bring here on a timely fashion. So again, we're all pressuring this government to do the right thing, do it in a timely fashion.
Yeah, just have one last question here. So, talking to some of the people trying to help out settlement services once Ukrainians arrive in Canada, they're saying there are significant challenges there is because they technically aren't refugees, so they can't access certain programs. Does the opposition think that these programs should be expanded given the extraordinary circumstances we are seeing with Ukrainians?
Well, we have been seeing, first and foremost, let me just say how incredible it is to see how many people are stepping up, opening up their houses. There's church groups opening up resettlement services. We as a whole, I don't think anyone has any opposition in the fact that we need to provide as many services as possible or as many supports as possible. We've seen provinces stepping up to fill in the gaps where the federal government is either delayed or not putting in the work that they need to in order to support the Ukrainians that are coming here. Like I said, I don't think there's any opposition when it comes to supporting. It's just about how timely these supports are needed, and they're needed now more than ever. We're seeing as the war is continuing on and this invasion continues, we might see another huge influx of people coming here. Canada needs to be prepared for that.
Anything else you'd like to answer?
No, thank you.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Monsieur Godet, avez-vous un petit commentaire sur le décès de André Arthur?
Oui, absolument.
Qu'est-ce que ça vous fait d'apprendre qu'il est décédé?
En fait, c'est un personnage qui a marqué l'histoire de la communication dans la grande région de Québec. Moi, j'ai eu le privilège, et je fais justement une déclaration tout à l'heure à la Chambre des communes, j'ai eu le privilège, moi, comme étudiant, de l'interviewer. Il y avait cette générosité-là. J'ai étudié en communication à cette époque-là, et aujourd'hui, je représente la même circonscription que lui. Alors, oui, c'est un personnage qui a marqué l'histoire au niveau des communications et qui a siégé ici à la Chambre des communes. Alors, on ne peut qu'avoir une pensée pour lui, pour sa famille. Et il a su partir de façon unique, comme il a mené toute sa carrière au niveau public.
Qu'est-ce que vous voulez dire, la façon
de par son Twitter, oui, effectivement. Alors, c'est André Arthur, c'est un personnage, il est unique. Et c'est la beauté de cet homme-là, la force de cet homme-là. Et c'est un excellent communicateur, c'est un homme de grande culture. Maintenant, il nous a quittés de façon surprenante. Je pense que c'était pas annoncé, c'était pas une maladie qui a dégénéré depuis longue date. Et c'était ma grande surprise hier sur ma route pour m'en venir ici à Ottawa que j'ai appris le décès de M. Arthur.
Je ne sais pas si je peux vous poser une question plus sur la guerre en Ukraine.
Oui.
Donc, un de vos collègues qui était en fin de semaine, qui était un peu surpris de voir que tant Mélanie Joly que Chrystia Freeland que Justin Trudeau étaient du même voyage. Quel genre de problème ça pourrait poser à vos yeux?
Ben, le problème, c'est quand une vice-première ministre et un premier ministre sont ensemble, c'est assez dangereux s'il arrive un problème parce que la gestion du pays est transférée à qui? Si on se souvient bien, lorsque François Legault a eu la COVID, il a demandé à sa vice-première ministre de ne pas être dans les mêmes activités que lui pour justement permettre une continuité. Alors, c'est ma première analyse. Maintenant, au-delà de tout ça, je comprends que les chefs d'État puissent aller se promener en Ukraine. Mais au-delà de ça, il faut agir concrètement pour poser des gestes. Est-ce qu'on est en train de faire du spectacle ou on est en train d'aider réellement l'Ukraine? Moi, je pense qu'on serait plus efficace dans les coulisses, puis alimenter et donner les outils nécessaires pour se défendre contre Vladimir Poutine.
Le symbole d'avoir le premier ministre canadien qui est là la veille du jour de la victoire où la Russie prévoit célébrer, c'est pas quelque chose qui est important?
Ben, moi, je pense que lorsqu'on est en guerre, c'est pas le temps d'avoir des symboles, il faut se défendre. Merci beaucoup.
Pour des avions onolisés pour les réfugiés, est-ce que ça progresse auprès du ministre Freeland?
Il faudrait regarder auprès du ministre Algabra parce qu'il a de l'air à trouver ça compliqué. C'est quand même assez fascinant qu'on ait annoncé ça il y a plus d'un mois, en grande pompe, qu'on soit arrivé finalement avec un programme d'aéroplan dont tout le monde à peu près ignore comment ça fonctionne présentement. Et ce qu'on nous dit, c'est que les réfugiés sont pas au même endroit, donc c'est compliqué. Écoutez bien, c'est du monde qui a réussi à s'enfuir de la guerre. Dites-vous une chose, ils vont trouver le moyen d'embarquer dans un avion s'il y en a un, mais c'est bien difficile présentement pour une mère ukrainienne et ses enfants d'embarquer dans un avion nolisé quand les avions sont à Toronto, Montréal ou Vancouver. Présentement, les avions, il faut qu'ils soient en Europe si on veut qu'il y ait des gens qui embarquent dedans. Puis surtout quand on a promis une telle chose, puis après ça, on arrive et qu'on se dit « Ah, bien finalement, c'est trop compliqué. Je peux pas croire qu'ils ont annoncé ça sans avoir de plan. » Et c'est triste à quelque part parce que c'est des gens qui souffrent présentement, qui ont rempli leur demande. Leur demande a été traitée, mais ils restent là-bas. C'est bien beau de traiter une demande, mais l'important, c'est qu'ils arrivent ici, sinon ça donne absolument rien.
Et on sait que Terre-Neuve et Labrador va directement noliser un avion. Les réfugiés vont venir directement sur le territoire de Terre-Neuve et Labrador. Donc, une province soit en mesure de faire ça et pas le fédéral, qu'est-ce que ça vous amène comme réflexion?
Bien, écoutez, c'est quand même hallucinant que le fédéral, qui est le palier de gouvernement qui a annoncé une telle chose, se fasse damer le pion par une province qui se dit, ben là, nous autres, on est tannés d'attendre, on va aller chercher. C'est complètement ridicule. Je sais qu'il y a des initiatives un peu partout, même de groupes privés qui sont en train d'analyser des avions, alors que le ministre des Transports, quand même, du Canada, est incapable de le faire de concert avec le ministre de l'Immigration. Quand le ministre de l'Immigration nous dit, il y a 25 000 Ukrainiens qui sont arrivés ici, écoutez, là, il y a au-delà de 185 000 demandes qui ont été traitées, là, ou qui sont en voie d'être traitées. C'est rien, 25 000 personnes. Et ça, c'est depuis janvier, donc avant la guerre. C'est des gens qui avaient déjà une autorisation de voyage. Et là, présentement, ce qu'on voit, c'est que c'est des gens, et on en a à chaque jour, là, et moi, comme critique de l'immigration, il y a beaucoup de gens qui m'interpellent. Et à chaque jour, on est en train d'essayer de débloquer des dossiers, faire venir des gens, leur trouver des places sur des vols, alors que ce serait si simple d'envoyer des avions à un endroit bien précis, de publiciser. Et je vous garantis qu'il y aurait des gens qui embarquaient dans ces avions-là. De plus, ce que ça fait, c'est qu'ils arriveraient tous en même temps. Ça serait beaucoup plus facile de diriger vers les endroits où ils auront besoin d'aide, où on pourra les aider. Donc, franchement, l'idée de la passerelle aérienne, c'est une chose que le Congrès des Ukrainiens canadiens demandait depuis longtemps. Nous, ça fait plus de 2 mois qu'on le demande. Puis aujourd'hui, on nous arrive avec un plan qui est trop compliqué pour être mis en place, alors qu'il a été annoncé il y a 1 mois. Je veux dire, on est dans un mauvais film américain présentement, là.
Dans ce contexte-là, comment vous percevez le voyage de M. Trudeau en Ukraine?
Bien, écoutez, ça, c'est sa prérogative. Tant mieux pour lui. Si ça a amené du réconfort, tant mieux. Moi, ce qui m'importe présentement, c'est de faire venir ces gens-là sur place. Donc, M. Trudeau qui voyage, qui aille voir sur place en Ukraine, ça va. J'ai aucun problème avec ça. Mais moi, ça m'aide pas à voir des Ukrainiens arriver en sol canadien, en sol québécois. Et ça, je pense pas que ça a rien réglé le voyage qu'il a fait en fin de semaine.
Flights, is Canada being too slow to bring Ukrainians here?
Too slow is the least we can say. Too slow. And Canada is not too slow. Canada does nothing. This is a big matter for me because I mean I'm asking that from the government for the last 2 months. They announced it 1 month ago. And we are looking now at a messy plan that doesn't just exist, because for them it's too complicated, which is, for me, it's a big failure from this government to those people who wants to come here and who already have their visa to come here, but they don't have the money to get to a plane. I mean, this is ridiculous. Canada is not too slow. Canada just don't do anything. Thank you.
Est-ce que ça se pose un problème qui est à la fois M. Trudeau, Mme Joly et Mme Freeland qui étaient sur place, un peu d'un point de vue sécurité? Est-ce que vous pensez que ça pourrait poser problème s'il arrivait un mal? S'il était arrivé malheur?
On ne souhaite pas de malheur à personne. Je pense que c'était un message fort envoyé d'avoir le premier ministre, le vice-premier ministre, le ministre des Affaires étrangères en même temps. Ça ne m'inquiète pas, mais je pense que c'était surtout important de montrer notre solidarité avec le peuple ukrainien.
Do you care about Shaw and Rogers getting blocked by the Competition Bureau? The Competition Bureau is putting it out, trying to outright block that.
I'm not aware of that, so I will not comment.
Go back to Ukraine and ask you if you think Canada's being too slow on chartered flights and getting Ukrainians. It's been a month since the Prime Minister.
Yeah, really too slow. I think it's not the first time. You know, it was the government was inefficient with the Afghans, and we see the same thing with the Ukrainians. And I don't get that Canada, a rich country like Canada, is not able to loan some planes and get those people right here, right now.
Are you aware that Newfoundland as a province is chartering a flight of Ukrainians that are expected to arrive?
I was not aware of that.
Yeah,
But
it's the first one in Canada, but it was organized solely by the province. What does that tell you about where Canada says there's too many challenges?
It shows that it's possible if you have the will to do it. Because if Newfoundland was able to be a leader on that, why not here in Ottawa? Oui. Je trouve que le gouvernement libéral, malheureusement, s'est traîné les pieds sur le fait de louer des avions pour aller chercher les réfugiés ukrainiens. Mais c'est pas la première fois. On a vu aussi un gouvernement inefficace avec les Afghans, malgré le fait qu'ils nous avaient aidés là-bas. Malheureusement, cette histoire-là se répète avec l'Ukraine.
Pour vous, là, au fédéral, à partir de quelle date le convoi de la liberté a été illégal? Avez-vous une date?
C'était une évolution. On l'a suivi. Avec les informations, comme j'ai dit lors du comité.
Ben, par exemple, quand Pierre Poilievre disait que c'était pas nécessairement illégal, il y avait des individus. Pour vous, c'était illégal, cette manifestation-là?
La manifestation était illégale, oui. C'était une occupation. C'était pas une manifestation. Il y a une grosse différence entre les deux. Une manifestation respecte les droits d'autrui. Une occupation tranche, effectivement, coupe les droits des autres. Et donc, il y a une grosse différence. Il y avait une évolution. Mais on a suivi avec les détails. La question, c'était plutôt quand c'était une urgence qui demandait la loi sur les mesures d'urgence.
Mais que ça soit pas compris encore, ça vous fait dire quoi?
Il faut le comprendre. C'est assez clair. Il y a certains d'autres dans la politique qui sont en train de s'aimer la confusion. Mais une occupation, ce n'est pas une manifestation, ce n'est pas une question de liberté d'expression.
I asked about a special envoy for anti-Asian hate, if I'm using the right words. What do you think about that? I just got to ask because it came out of the blue to me. So.
Well, look, I mean, anti-Asian racism has absolutely been on the rise for the last couple of years. It's why we had about $11 million in the budget last year for to create some support and just that work that actually needs to be done to combat anti-Asian racism, but also another $85 million to deal with anti-racism in this year's budget. But this work has, it's really important to me in particular. I mean, this is Asian Heritage Month. In fact, the Prime Minister and I last week launched Asian Heritage Month with a really terrific Canadian, Simu Liu, where we need to both celebrate the excellence that is in the Asian Canadian community, but certainly stand together, stand up for hate. And we do that with allies as well, right? I mean, hate is hate. So we need to kind of keep doing the work to combat anti-Asian racism. And I think that is for all of us to do as Canadians. And seeing the rise that we have seen, particularly anti-Asian hate, where we've seen about a 47% rise in the last 2 years alone, is alarming, but work that we must continue to do to fight it.
Special envoy, yes, no?
I think that it is the work of all Canadians. I think it is, me in public office. It is you as members of the media to bring awareness to it. It is anyone who is walking down the street who is seeing something despicable that can't be to stand up against it. So I think that it is the job for all of us to stand up against hate and to certainly create a more tolerant Canada. So it's all of us.
Last question. The official leader of the opposition was standing up without a mask under 5 days after she said publicly she has COVID. So do you think that's safe?
I think that we should all follow public health guidelines. You see, I'm wearing a mask. My colleagues are. I think the first and most important thing, and we've been learning this throughout COVID, follow the science, follow public health, and do, I think, the thing that you would expect your neighbors and others to do to keep each other safe. So I'm going to wear a mask. I've been vaccinated, and I would encourage people to go get vaccinated and do everything you can to keep everyone safe.
But she's standing up without a mask under 5 days of publicly declaring and asking questions and throwing her voice in the comments. Is that a concern or not?
I think that all of us have to do everything we can. We've seen what COVID has been in terms of the impact it's had on Canadians, on healthcare workers, on businesses. And I think anything we can be doing to contribute to greater safety is what we should all be doing. Thanks.
Shaw Rogers, what do you think?
Sure. I mean, I think, look, Canadians already pay very high prices when it comes to telecom services. So the question is this going to result in better prices? Is this going to result in better service? And generally, when you have a reduction in competition, that's not what happens. And so, and then there's the further question of what does it mean for jobs if you're having a consolidation within the industry? When these mergers happen, what we see is that people lose jobs, that prices don't go down, and that service doesn't get better. And so we think this is a merger that should not go ahead.
The Competition Bureau today is moving to, they're saying they want to block the deal. What's your reaction to that?
Well, we think that that's an appropriate conclusion given the fact that we're likely to see a decrease in jobs and we're not likely to see a decrease in prices or an improvement in service if the merger goes ahead. That's been the pattern with these kinds of mergers, and so that's why we do not believe that the merger should go ahead.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you stopping. That was perfect.